The image is clear. Lap 23, turn 3. Hamilton's Ferrari snaps and slides into the barrier. No contact, no mechanical failure, and the question spreads through the paddock. Was it driver error or something deeper? Hamilton didn't make excuses. He said exactly what he felt. As I went up the bank, the rear snapped out. I couldn't recover. He'd mentioned earlier that the car felt twitchy but strong. I was catching George. I had the pace of a few cars ahead. So here's where the doubt begins. The rain had started. Turn 3 with its steep banking becomes a trap the moment grip drops. Piastri, Norris and Verstappen were already adjusting. Leclerc had pitted, but Hamilton no warning, no strategy switch, no early pit call. We're not saying it was sabotage, but why of all drivers was Hamilton left without critical information? He's the most experienced in changing conditions, and yet he was the one caught out. If turn 3 became a trap, someone knew. The real question is who stayed quiet, because the crash didn't start at the wall. It started with silence. Zandvoort's turn 3 isn't just any corner, banked, blind, and brutally unforgiving when the surface shifts. By lap 21, rain had already been reported. Drops on visors, warnings from other teams. Even Piastri hinted at grip loss. And yet Hamilton kept pushing without a single heads up. Here's the timeline they won't show you on TV. Lap 22, Leclerc pit, Ferrari react. Lap 23, Hamilton continues on track. No call, no box, no mention of the risk. He enters the bank turn chasing Russell, and the rear goes, game over. Afterwards, Hamilton said the car was twitchy but improving, that he was in the fight, and that he didn't know what happened. But maybe the more honest line was this: it's very unusual to not finish a race, especially when Ferrari had every reason and every bit of data to act one lap earlier. So why didn't they? Was it indecision, prioritizing Leclerc's stop, or just underestimating the risk with Hamilton still out? Because when you replay the sequence, it's not the rear that lets go first, it's the trust. Let's compare. Lap 22, Charles Leclerc comes in for tyres. Ferrari reacts quickly. He rejoins just ahead of Antonelli. Lap 23, Hamilton is still on track as the rain intensifies, and there's silence. The irony: Leclerc's stop triggered the chain of events that ended both Ferrari's races. Rejoining in front of Antonelli, he was hit into the wall on turn 3. Two Ferraris, two crashes, both in the same corner under changing conditions within 2 laps. But the key difference: Leclerc had communication. He had reaction. Hamilton didn't. No warning, no alternate strategy, and once again, no support when it mattered most. He was chasing Russell, ready to climb into the top 5, and yet he was the one left without grip, without a pit call, without protection. It's becoming a pattern. When Ferrari has to choose who to prioritize under pressure, Hamilton doesn't just get the short end, he gets left out completely. 2 crashes tell 2 different stories. One caused by aggression, the other by neglect. What Piastri's telemetry reveals about how other teams handled the same conditions while Ferrari stood still is striking. Let's look at the leaders. Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, and Max Verstappen all stayed on slicks, but they were warned. They were told about the grip shift, about the risk zone at turn 3. Their engineers adjusted brake balance, called for caution through sector 2, and prepped for possible box windows. Hamilton, no such preparation. Telemetry from Piastri's McLaren shows lift points increase through lap 22. Brake pressure was smoothed out. Even Norris, chasing closely, was told about the damp line near the apex. Max was already switching off attack mode, preserving tyres in anticipation. And yet Hamilton, chasing hard on worn mediums under light rain, was given no adjustment call, no request to cool tyres, no setup, change nothing.
Ferrari's discoveries offer Hamilton something crucial: clarity. The simulator, broken, at least for his specific needs. The brake feel, fundamentally mismatched. The adaptation curve, far steeper than anyone expected. It doesn't excuse everything, but it explains it. It turns confusion into cause. And for a driver like Hamilton, who builds his greatness on feel, data, and process, that clarity is everything. Now comes the real challenge. Fixing the simulator isn't about flipping a switch. It requires reprogramming core systems, retraining models, maybe even redesigning components. Fixing the brake modulation might mean developing an entirely new master cylinder, adjusting pedal mapping, recalibrating thermal behavior, all under the constraints of a brutal cost cap while still developing the 2026 car. In the meantime, Hamilton has to keep racing, keep showing up, keep trusting a process that until now hasn't worked in his favor. And that's perhaps the most difficult task of all. When you've won 103 races and 7 world titles, it's hard to accept that progress might come in tenths, in hundredths, in invisible margins only the stopwatch can see. But that's exactly what Ferrari's found. A problem invisible from the outside, crippling from the inside. The question now is whether Ferrari will act fast enough. Will they give Hamilton the tools he needs? Can Hamilton silence the chaos, the headlines, the ghosts of champions past, and finally prove this move was worth it? Because if he can turn this around, if he can take everything Ferrari's discovered and transform it into performance, the story changes completely. Suddenly, the narrative isn't failure, it's redemption. Not a superstar in decline, but a legend reborn in red. Ferrari's shocking discovery stunned Hamilton. But it's also given him something invaluable, a new starting point, a new target, a chance to rewrite the ending of a season many had already written off. The drama is far from over. In fact, it might just be beginning. What do you think Ferrari should prioritize, fixing the simulator first or addressing the braking system? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more phone insights that go deeper than the headlines.